All right, good to see, good to be. It's DillyDave, the host of the Vibe Union podcast, hanging out for another sweet episode with the lovely blues, roots, folk, singer-songwriter goodness of Caisha Sprout. Welcome to the Vibe Union podcast. How are we going there today, Caisha Sprout?
Going good. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you are super welcome. It's been said by myself that Caisha's songs don't make you just feel good. They actually make you feel right, like you fit into your own skin. So
that is really cool.
You can put that in a bio or clip that or do whatever you want to do with it. That is my offering to you.
On my gravestone. Yeah.
Oh, we're thinking long term. That's beautiful. I like that. So before we get into it, and it being Caisha Sprout, a good way to start these episodes is to get grounded by acknowledging the sacred ground that we are recording and producing this podcast on. So I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the Wurundjeri, Boonwurrung, and the Bunurong. Is that your area, Dandenong, Bunurong? Is that correct?
Yes.
I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of these areas. I'd like to, pay respects to elders, past, present, and emerging, and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. History has been deleted, and it's important that we try and keep what stories are left alive. How do we feel about that, Caisha Sprout?
100% agree with that.
Very good. Well,
it's blessed to be on this land, so.
Yes, absolutely. It is a blessing indeed, hence the sacred ground. And I think that, if you don't care for where you step, then what does the direction matter?
Full of insightful comments today.
Yeah, it's 3 sips of coffee is just really all it is for me. Caisha, tell us about your perfect breakfast beverage. What is your go-to? What's your choice when it comes to morning beverages?
Oh, I am mostly a tea girl, but I do love a matcha as well, like a matcha latte.
Huge.
I coffee because I had the game in the shakes.
Yeah, you don't come off. Well, your music doesn't present itself as coffee infused music. It's soothing like the tea indeed. What kind of teas are you into?
I'm a black tea kind of girl.
Huge.
Assam Bold is probably my favorite at the moment.
Wait, what is that? Can you say that again?
Assam Bold.
Okay. What kind of flavors are you experiencing with that? What's that kind of like?
So it's a black tea. It's like just a bit more kind of strong compared to your regular like Lipton.
Mm-hmm. In terms of flavor boldness or caffeine?
Flavor bold. I'd say it's a richer, deeper tone tea compared to your regular off the cuff.
Yeah. And is that because you're a veteran tea drinker and the other stuff just doesn't cut it for you, or do you feel like you've just you've sought out this particular taste?
I actually had this at my nana's house one time, and I was changed. I'm Indian, so tea is a big part of our culture. Mm-hmm. And now I had it at my nana's, and now the whole family is on it, and everyone is Assam Bold. So we get group texts, oh, guys, it's on sale in the supermarket.
Damn. It's serious.
Yeah. So Dilma, if you want to sponsor me, let me know.
Shout outs. Hit the lady up, Dilma. What are you waiting for? This is a real opportunity. So Caisha, you kind of upbeat and funky and soulful, and it's interesting. The music that you present seems to be of another time. Do you consider yourself an old soul, or are you just out here studying the greats?
I guess in a way, I think I grew up on just a lot of that older soul kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. In our house, we listened to a lot of like Sunday morning, Saturday mornings. It was always like jazz, like just blaring through the house, or yeah, my parents loved the crooners. There was a lot of like Beatles, just like a lot of older stuff always running through the house. So I think that's kind of where it started for me. And then I just grew out of it.
Right. And what about the messages that you're kind of threading through your music? You know, there's a lot of, and I'm not just dropping the title of one of your singles, Self-Love, but there is a lot of self-love there. There's a lot of, you know, reflection in a kind of a reflection in a way that's, you know, you're kind of reflecting inward and not trying to blame the outside world. I guess my question is, where do some of these positive thoughts or influences come from that find themselves in your music?
That was a good question. I tend to be quite an introspective soul.
Mm-hmm.
So all of it comes from experience. I think when you go through something, it's really easy to blame outside sources and whatever else is going on. But a lot of the times when you look inside, you can find the answers that you're looking for. And
yes.
For me, I found that songwriting was just a way for me to like release all these emotions or problems that I was going through, because I'm not so great at talking about my feelings. So
okay.
Being able to put it into a song just kind of was my place to freely express stuff.
So it's an easier way for you to explore these ideas and your experience with yourself, but also maybe one of the only ways you could share it with other people.
I guess it's more for me just about releasing it.
Okay.
Build up inside. And I think a lot of people can probably relate to that. It's sometimes hard to say the way you feel about things or to put certain things you're going through into words. So,
yeah, trying to articulate the human experience can be quite the difficult thing, right?
Yes, very much so.
We often borrow words from other people to help us express this. Hey,
I'm totally okay with people borrowing more.
Yeah, I guess I was asking permission for everyone to borrow your work and words. So thank you. So thank you for granting that. So one of the big reasons, and I should have said this right up at the front, one of the big reasons why we got Caisha Sprout on the Vibe Union podcast is because you're going to be performing at the Dusty Sessions, which is on the 9th of April, Saturday, 9th of April. You'll be performing alongside Honey Blue and Chev Person. Caisha, do you just want to talk a little bit about your experience with live shows recently, what you've been up to, what have been some highlights, and just I guess what you've been up to on the live scene recently?
My most recent one was a really actually little beautiful show at Brunswick Artist Bar. Sorry, my brain.
Okay, cool.
And it was just a little small gig, just me on guitar.
Mm-hmm.
It was really nice to share it with some friends and some strangers. The Caisha Sprout whole project was launched actually during ISO. So
yes.
I haven't really been able to do a lot of performance. It's only now just started since things have opened up. But I'm really looking forward to getting out there a bit more.
It's exciting. What is your kind of emotional state coming into a live gig? You know, are you super excited? Are you super nervous? Do you feel any kinds of pressure? Like, reflect on kind of how you're feeling.
I think it's a mix of everything.
Yeah.
Because it's excitement to be finally in front of a live audience, but there's pressure and nerves. And because it's been, a few years of just being at home and running through your songs and the nerves and the pressure always build up. But I think excitement a lot of the time wins. So
cool. How have you been able to keep momentum up? You say you kind of created this particular outfit or artist persona of Caisha Sprout through ISO, how have you been able to keep momentum up when it comes to working on all of the tracks and the releases that you have been?
That is, I guess it's just been because I've been passionate about it. I really, truly love the music.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to share it with people. So although it has challenges because you're kind of policing yourself and you need to get all of these things done. Once I did the first release, so When I Get Older, it's a lot easier because then I kind of knew what was coming for the rest of them.
Right. But setting up that initial kind of publishing pipeline, there's a lot kind of involved with that.
Yeah, stressful for sure. And even recording the album because it was all done remotely. So
nice.
That process was, I think, probably a lot harder than being able to be in the studio because I worked with people overseas as well. So time difference and sometimes trying to convey stuff and whatever can get a bit lost. So it was a stressful process, but happy where we ended up. So
that's really cool. There's a bit of parallel between yourself and Vibe Union. We also kind of created Vibe Union out of isolation within the, that first month when everything got locked down, and we started creating remotely as well. And even though it is a pathway to create things, it's not ideal. And I can imagine, especially as like a solo artist working on a project, being your album, right, that you are that to try and capture vibes and jam moments and all that kind of stuff isn't as tangible. So big ups to you for making it work and making it happen regardless.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a cool process, but I think when you find a producer that you really kind of connect with and that they understand you, I'm very grateful for that.
Do you want to give your producer a shout out and tell us who you've been working with on this? We're talking about your album, correct? When I Get Older, is that right?
When I Get Older.
Beautiful.
So I worked with 4 different producers, but the main one is Alex Fisher, who works out of Mexico. And
hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm so grateful for him. He just really, really helped me to bring the album to life. And I felt very safe in his production hands. So, and there were a couple other people. So I worked with a guy named Dan Konopka out of LA, who was in a band called OK Go.
Okay, that's actually vaguely familiar.
Yeah, I think they were pretty big in like 2000s, early 90s. And
this too shall pass. That's right. It's one of their tracks. Anyway, go on.
And then also worked with a guy named Lucius Page out of New York, and another guy named Jeff Jacobs. I can't remember where exactly he was, but Alex is the GOAT.
The goat, everyone needs a goat. I'm glad you got your goat, That's real important. So how did you connect with all these people and get them involved with the project?
So it's through this site called Sound Better.
Okay.
And basically it's kind of like Airtasker or those kind of sites, but for producers and musicians. So you'll post a track where producers will say, I really like this, I'd love to work on it. And they'll send you their quotes and you'll have a meeting and decide if you fit the vibe and that kind of thing.
Cool. Yeah, that's interesting. I guess that is the perfect site or platform for this whole COVID experience.
100%.
It's kind of scary, but in a good way. All right, so quickly, just in your life at the moment and what's happening, what's the general vibe check for you? What kind of frequency we're talking about? Where are you moving at? What's happening?
High frequencies only. Good vibes only. Life is feeling, honestly, good. Like it feels really good. It feels like a good place to be in. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was feeling stuck. We were all feeling a bit low, and it just feels like there's a lot of possibilities and a lot more movement right now. So life is feeling good.
Cool. Do you think that that's come as a result of you working on and through your music, or is that has that come down to other factors in your life? And we don't have to get too personal or anything, but
100%. I think finding myself in my music and artistry has fully helped that journey, because it just feels possible to see where this is going now. Whereas before it was kind of like, oh, I don't know what's happening. But now there's kind of a clear pipeline. So yeah, that's 100% played into it. Obviously also other factors.
But it's been the main drive, kind of enabling you to navigate these new waters where we're allowed to almost do what we want in the world.
I am happy. So
cool. All right. Over to another important question, Caisha Sprout. When it comes to snacks, are we talking sweet or sour? I mean, what direction are we going?
Oh, can I say savory?
Yeah, I said sweet or sour. I was meant to put savory in there as the third S adjective. Yes, please. Savory. Okay. What's the go-to in savory? What are some sweet snacks? Savory snacks.
I've been getting into, do you know there's like corn puffs, the ones that you put in your mouth and they're like, that was.
No, I think I get it. Which brand of chip are making these? Kettles?
Like the local grocer just sells them. I don't know, it's some like nondescript brand. And I just love it.
Puffed up corn chip, is that what it is?
It's not a corn chip. It's just like a puff. And then it has like hot and spicy flavoring on it.
Right. Okay. There we go. Is that the favorite flavor for you, the hot and spicy kind of flavor?
I don't mind the barbecue too. That's pretty good.
Okay.
But that or just bread. I love bread.
Just bread. Could we break down the whole bread snack situation? Like, are we talking straight as a loaf, or what variant and what with? Guys, if you're hungry, I've got bread. I got a loaf too.
No, just like toast. I just love bread. I bought these. I don't know how much we can talk about bread on here, but I bought these little like crusty bread rolls, and then I put them in the air fryer, and then you can just like whoosh, and then butter and.
Damn, you're putting bread in the air fryer. I'm not even sure if it's. I mean, it could be used for anything, but that's not initially what they had in mind. You're becoming.
I don't quite think a kind of fresh bread feel to it, and then it's hot, bit steamy, bit crunchy.
Damn, Caisha Sprout doing snacks right out here, I guess. Yeah, cool. What can't you leave your house with? And I'm excluding phone, wallet, and keys from the equation. So what's the thing you can't leave the house with, but isn't one of the go-to threes?
Like without?
Yeah, can't leave the house without.
Okay. Probably my emotional support water bottle.
Got him. Yes.
I feel like that thing, here it is.
Let's see it.
Comes with me everywhere.
And what does it say on there? It says swell. That's such a great word. I remember using that word a little bit and people saying that I was going to be the person who brought that word back, that it looks like whoever put that word on the drink bottle is bringing it back harder than me. Yeah. What brand is it?
Swell.
That's the actual brand. Jeez. Yeah. That's unbelievable. Okay. The emotional support bottle. So you're not only using it for hydration, but you're using it for consultation as well.
Yeah. Just security, safety, and hydration.
Cool. So when you're feeling, do you kind of hug it? Do you kind of like,
No, it's just more just like there with me. And then I know if I get thirsty, it's ready to
It's right there. Thirsty, upset.
Thirsty or upset. my water bottle is there to support me.
That's huge. That's huge moves. I love that. Okay, so when it comes to the artist Caisha Sprout, what does the name represent? What's the origin of the name? How did you come up with this little seedling?
So the Caisha part is came from my name. So I just took this out of my name and then was messing around with like a word generator.
Cool.
And then Caisha came up with a different spelling, and I was like, I like that, but let's change it so people will know how to say it. With that. And Sprout is just kind of the energy of the music that I make. Like I make roots music, so obviously that. But I think a lot of the stories that I like to tell and the journeys that I like to take people on are quite grounding. It's all about, your roots and that kind of earthy energy. So, yeah.
Cool. If you had to give people a bit of an insight as to what they can expect with your new album. Now, is the new album is that completely released yet, or is there any more tracks?
Is the last track, and then
today is the last track. What day did you say?
No, Tuesday. Wait, sorry, I just panicked and I thought, is today Tuesday?
No, Tuesday the 29th. That's when the last track's coming out.
The last track comes out. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Do you want to just talk a bit about the project? I guess. Yeah. Kind of maybe speak more on what some of the tracks about. Maybe a favorite track, and what people can expect from the album.
Yeah, of course. So the track, as you might have seen on the artwork, is all about time, journey through time. It's about all of the things that I've kind of been through on these past 3-4 kind of years. And each of the songs is a little piece of the puzzle. And from the artwork, you'll see every week I've added a little symbol into the artwork. Every week.
This is true. She does not lie.
So next week it'll be fully complete, and you'll see the full journey, and the hourglass will be full. I have grown up loving blues, soul, and folk music, and obviously a little bit of pop too. So I wanted to create a blend of that, and I've never kind of prescribed to just being in one genre. I like to pull things from others because I think it just makes it more interesting and a fun listening experience. So that's what I've kind of done, and a lot of the tracks have kind of a different genre but still a similar vibe. So that was the kind of journey I wanted to take people on through all of the different genres that I love while still keeping the roots at the center of things. So
nice. Okay, so it's kind of like it shows people all the different sounds and flavors that you're into, and then you're just incorporating a lot of like real experience, and I guess you're kind of dissecting yourself and sharing that with people.
I just love to tell a story. That's my thing. I think songs are just little narratives, so it's nice to be able to say each song is a little story.
Have you always been so willing to share your stories, or was that something that took a while to develop?
Well, I've been writing since I was 14.
Yeah.
And I haven't really released anything up until when I put Self-Love out. So it took a while to get things properly rolling like I always wanted to. But I struggled, with I guess a lot of artists kind of, you beat yourself up a lot, and that's one of the biggest, what's the word that I'm looking for? Enemies in your journey. So that took a toll. But truthfully, when I wrote Self-Love, it was a turning point where when I wrote that, literally that night, I was like, I'm going to release this song. And it kind of went from there. And then after that, all the songs that were written was like, okay. And then when I wrote Seasick, I knew what my album was going to sound like. So that's the kind of like, oh, okay, I see where we're going. I see what this is going to be.
Right. So you could see a lot of potential for a while, but there was this kind of maybe a bit of a self-doubt blockage that was there. But then once you got that one track that you felt like was worthy of maybe yourself and other people, it's been a pretty decent trajectory, momentum from there.
I think it was more just like self-love to me isn't just like, oh, a song that I was like, yeah, this is a banger. It's more that it changed my mindset too, because I truly tried to carry out what that song is trying to sell as not only like a love letter for other people to use for themselves, but as a love letter to myself to be like, you are worthy of, the love that you give out to other people, because you just for the rest of your life. So,
and I guess the positive qualities that you see in others are things that are just like obtainable and desirable for yourself. So there's probably no point in just seeing those things in other people. You can see those qualities within yourself and draw yourself to them, which seems to be maybe what I took away from that particular track.
Love that. I love hearing people's perspectives on what they think music is about. It becomes a kind of reflection of their own human experience.
Yeah.
People tell me what a song brought up for them.
Yeah, it's this weird thing that unlocks different things for different people. It's never quite the same experience for everyone, which is one of the cool things about music, right?
Yes.
For me, that track Self-Love really plays on the whole idea of the only person you should be comparing yourself with is you or your future self. Like that's where the real growth comes from, kind of looking at what you could become.
100%. And when I get older, the first track, or the lead track, I should say, of the album kind of just expands on that, because that song is about being a little kid, or even now, and seeing someone really cool and then trying to mimic them, just like little things about them. You're like, oh, right. They have cool this, let me try it. But then you stumble and you fumble and you realize that they're them and you're you and that's not you. And it's like this little journey of finding what fits you. And that's the most authentic thing, and that's the best thing you can be, is when you're just yourself.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with everybody when it comes to growing oneself. A lot of it does have to do with imitating or understanding others. Right.
100%. We've all done it. We've all done some things like, oh, that's really cool. Let me try this. It's part of growing up. It's
right.
Necessary.
And then, you pick through a whole lot of different things and you kind of figure out what works and what sticks and what doesn't. Yeah. So
I'm still doing that now. I don't think it ever ends.
Me too. I think you're spot on there. I think you're absolutely spot on. With your name being Caisha, if you get too big, do you think you're going to be stepping on Kesha's feet at all? Have you thought about that?
Caisha?
Yeah.
I have not, now that you've brought it up.
I'd probably think about that, to be honest. I'm being so silly.
I'll take that into consideration. I remember that song, Tick Tock on the clock, the party. That was huge for us.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. All right. Well, pretty close to the end of this wonderful interview, which you've been able to deliver great questions that will never get graded, but they've all been spot on. When it comes to people who you take maybe a bit of influence from, but maybe more so who you like to keep track of, in like Melbourne or Australia, or kind of more of a local scene, who have you been like, whose work have you been appreciating recently, and who, if you had to, would you give a shout out to as a local gem?
Local gem, okay. I You know what? I'm actually going to put this out there. I don't know that many artists, or really many at all, roots artists. And I have been on the hunt to find more people who make similar music to me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening to this and you are a roots, blues, soul, folk artist, please hit me up, because I want to listen to all your tunes and add them to my playlist, because I don't have enough. I think we have a very big neo soul and R&B scene here in Melbourne. I know that there are other people who make music like me, and I want to listen to it. However, I listen to a lot of my friends' music, to be fair.
Yeah. Any shout outs worthy?
I love me some Kai.
Yeah. Is that how they're known on Spotify and stuff, or?
Yeah, that's how she's known on Spotify. And I've been getting into, do you know Laura music? She has some really beautiful tracks that really celebrate femininity.
Yeah.
It's really nice journey. So, and
great.
Yeah, little bits here and there. I love hearing like local music and just supporting our scene, because we have so many great musicians here in Melbourne.
Yeah, we really do. I think we're certainly spoiled for talent, and you're right up there with the best of them, Caisha. I would never undersell yourself. Never undersell yourself. One recommendation I would give: have you heard of Jag at all?
Never.
Jag on Instagram. It's Trill Jag, TRILLJAG. But I'll send you one of their YouTube tracks.
Please
and you can
do.
have a bit of look at that. So this one is Satisfied by Jag, for those who want to look it up, but I'll just shoot this to you right now. But yeah, Jag was on one of the most recent Dusty sessions, and yeah, really blew the roof off the house, so to speak. Very rootsy, bluesy, yeah, and like powerful while kind of embracing the femininity as well, but having real strong presence. It's very cool to see.
Very cool. Yes, please give me all the recommendations.
Cool. Well, this is pretty much the end of the Vibe Union podcast. For those who want to experience Caisha Sprout in real life, we've got the Dusty Sessions on the 9th of April. And Caisha will be performing alongside Honey Blue, who's, if you haven't listened to already, Caisha, I'd definitely listen to Honey Blue as well. And Chev Person, who I haven't heard too much of their stuff, but I have huge faith in Kelsey Jean and Georgia STP for picking up people for the Dusty Sessions. I think they've got incredible taste. And yeah, if you want to get more into the roots, folk kind of area, then anybody on a Dusty Sessions lineup is going to tick the box for you. Cool. Caisha Sprout, if you had anything that you'd like to share with the Vibe Union podcasting community, what would it be? Give us a bit of a sign off, some final words.
I would say that today is a good day, and if it's not, tomorrow will be. And if you need a soundtrack for your day, you should listen to my album. Yes,
nailing that self-promo. I love it. And self-love, I should say. Thank you so much for joining me and us today for the podcast. I know this has been on the spot, but did you have a good time?
I have had a great time. It's been a lovely chat.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. It's been very nice. Thank you again for joining us on this episode of the Vibe Union podcast. For those who want to follow, we are on all of the platforms. And by all of the platforms, I mean all of the big streaming platforms. We also have a website, a place where you can check all the events that we have. We do somewhere between 4 and 5 events a month. It's a crazy rotation we've got going at the moment. So to keep up to date with that, vibeunion.com. And also there's a cheeky tipping jar on the Vibe Union website as well. So if you're feeling like you want to make it rain on these sprouts. Do that. All right. Thanks again, Caisha, for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of what it is until we catch you at Dusty's.
Bye, everybody.